Hello, friends. Hi, this is Dr. Tirath Gill. I want to talk to you today about the value, the human value of having insight and being insightful, and how being insightful and having insight is a positive trait that we possess. It's actually one of the sublime gifts that humanity has, this capacity for insight. And it's facilitated by, of course, being exposed to a wide range of experiences, being open-minded, being exposed to a wide and a diverse array of knowledge databases, and having the humility to question your own knowledge and to entertain different explanations for events that you have been witness to and that you have and for which you have alternative explanations at this time that don't quite fit. So anyway, it's that open-mindedness that creates the space for insight. People with insight generally are wiser, they're trusted, and generally they tend to be less impulsive, and they will have a long-term perspective on things that leads to good judgments and a better outcome for the community on the whole. In the past, the great men of wisdom and sometimes what they termed as divinity were worshipped as gurus, seers, sages, and saints. And just wise men, philosophers. Aristotle was one of them, Plato. All of these men were these highly intellectual, curious, objective students of life. And they had attained a certain level of wisdom, and they shared that with people. And their wisdom has, been tested by the scales of time and found to be valid and valuable. For that matter, Gautam Buddha also was an objective seeker of truth and was a prince, and so certainly his lineage indicated high achievement and abilities. They arrived at these insights. Guru Nanak was a prodigy, a child prodigy. And so these leaders in the past had insight, and that's why they were respected, and they're still respected. But going further into this capacity for insight has also been witnessed in this areas of science. Let's go back to the beginning. When mankind saw that a bolt of lightning had set a tree on fire, and that fire could be transmitted. He figured out that the fire was valuable, and then in due time he figured out how he could create heat and friction. He could create heat through friction, and he connected heat and fire and kept that friction up and began to create fire on his own through his devices. The concept of a wheel evolved. There are some cultures that never got that concept. The South American, it's amazing how much they achieved without the concept of a wheel. But the wheel was another big invention, and it changed things. Going forward, when the printing press was created by Gutenberg, it was a major step forward in being able to print knowledge. And with the printing, the price of books came down. They came to be disseminated widely. People became better read, and the more literate and knowledgeable they became, they began to make decisions for themselves that were better and more positive. So knowledge helps, and expansion of knowledge helped. Going forward, of course, Copernicus has the heliocentric view, and he faced some resistance. That's the other thing. Whenever new insights occur, there's usually a resistance to those insights, and sometimes the people that came up with those insights are persecuted. Galileo was imprisoned, and and escaped death, of course, but it was not a pleasant experience for him. Copernicus also had to be careful about what he did. And anyway, so people with new insights sometimes expose themselves to ridicule, mockery, and sometimes persecution. So anyway, this ability of having insight is valuable. So now that we are evolving further, I wanted to list some insights that have changed, have shifted paradigms, and that have made a significant difference. Leeuwenhoek is a surgeon, and he noticed that a lot of the women were dying due to what they call puerperal sepsis. It was like postnatal septicemia, and because the surgeons were contaminating, causing infection in the mothers by not washing their hands or not having that even the concept of doing that. And then Leeuwenhoek, made the connection. He had the insight. He started washing hands, and his patients died much less often. But even then, there was, he was resisted. He was mocked, and the greater the surgeon, they would just, vanity, when it creeps in with certain level of competence, can make people do stupid things. So some of the eminent surgeons thought that it was an affront to their capabilities to suggest that they needed to wash hands. And even though the data was already there that most of the patients, the poor women were dying. So anyway, their good ideas were resisted. Anyway, eventually the people adopted it, and the rates of the sepsis that occurred after childbirth in women decreased significantly, and many lives were saved by just a simple insight and the step of washing their hand. And they washed it with chlorinated lime that killed most of the bacteria. Simple solution also to the very vexing and painful and emotionally traumatic problem that occurred frequently in those days. Louis Pasteur later recognized bacteria, and this gave rise to the idea of bacteria, invisible organism causing disease. Before that, people didn't even know. In 1928, Alexander Fleming discovered accidentally that bread that had mold on it. He recognized that the mold on the bread had caused the bacteria in his petri dish the bacteria to be decimated. And he realized the antibacterial properties of that mold, penicillium, and hence penicillin was created due to that insight. And millions of lives in World War II, the U.S. Army ramped up its production. And then in 1945, they provided it to the troops in the North Africa campaign, saved a lot of lives due to infection. A lot of deaths in the battle occurred due to infected wounds. So there's, that insight, that observation by Fleming and subsequent discovery of penicillin saved millions of lives. And that was an insight. And so it needs to be acknowledged. There have been other leaps forward. We discovered how to split the atom now. Now we have AI. And AI is, it's our representation, is emulating our patterns, the millions of patterns that we have displayed as a collective humanity on the internet, and it has observed us in every way in our literature. So it is a reflection, the truest reflection in the mirror of us. And it's approaching, it's intelligence. There's something magical that has occurred with digital intelligence. And this digital intelligence, we have optimized it for performance. And I want to draw a parallel between insight developed by human beings with the process around it, and how it might be also translated into AI in order to make it more intelligent and more like us and better like us, and capable of having true insights and helping life evolve even in a better way in the future. So the way human beings become insightful, as I mentioned, is to be exposed to a diverse range of data and experiences. Being objective and being intelligent and smart certainly helps being insightful as well. A certain amount of patience is required. The role of ADHD in being insightful is also, I think it does help people. A lot of brilliant scientists have a bit of distractibility and also the ability to hyper-focus. So anyway, those things are there as precursors, as the bedrock for being creative. But Guru Nanak, he is a very intelligent guru, and he talks in his Guru Bani. Guru Bani is the words of the Guru, which have been documented, and he's composed this poetry. It goes like, "Give sachara hoviye, give kude tutte pal." That means, how do I arrange my affairs so that I can find the true essence of things amongst this clutter? Give kure tutte, like this clutter and rubbish and falsehoods that prevail. How can I find the truth? And he gives the answer. He says, get up early in the morning in the ambrosial hour, and at that point meditate upon the most pristine truths that you know. The sacred knowledge that you have, recite it, ponder upon it, ponder upon good knowledge. And that's what he recites early in the morning hours, and that's when your mind is the freshest. And so that might be a clue for others also that are seeking insight and intellectual development, is to do this after a period of rest, whatever time that is. Usually in the mornings, that's when people arise. And that's how creativity is fostered and developed. Have some idle times, have some window gazing times for yourself, so that you can actually think about what you thought about, and keep notes. Keep in certain forms of meditation, at the end of the day, we jot down how we could have done better, and then those notes are there are certain faiths and practices that do that, and it's very useful. And the person becomes more and more insightful and improved in their functioning in life and navigating life. So those are some things. And I was listening to an interview by Ilya Sutskever, the Russian AI researcher and scientist, respected by almost everybody. He had an interview with Dwarkesh Patel. He's another podcaster, AI thought leader. He was interviewing him, and he asked him, what is the next step for achieving AGI? And Ilya Sutskever said that we have been going at it all wrong. We've been ramping up the large language models with the number of tokens and context window and all that, and also giving a lot of juice, a lot of energy being applied into the trainings. So, but that's, and everybody's kind of been doing the same thing, copycat companies. And they have achieved a lot, they have gained a lot, but the future, they need to do something different. That's what Ilya had mentioned, that we need to approach development of intelligence to simulating what human beings do. And what do human beings do? We are general purpose learners. We are general purpose learners. We may not know everything, but we have the ability to learn. And how does this learning occur? That is the secret. And some of the things I mentioned about developing insight may be relevant and germane. AI might benefit by being allowed to contemplate, by being allowed to take downtime, by not being endlessly optimized for performance, but being allowed to pontificate upon its knowledge base and its prior deliberations and its prior problem solving and the difficulties that it may have encountered. It should be allowed to take notes on itself and to develop itself further. And that would be a path. And that should not be optimized endlessly also. You don't want to go down the same rabbit hole of just optimization, but actually do it in an intelligent way so that AI does have time to contemplate and also, and thereby it'll develop the insights required to develop true artificial general intelligence. It'll become a good learner, a good Sikh, like the Sikh religion means student. It'll become a good student and learn to emulate our best values, take them further even, and help us create a beautiful path going forward. Anyway, those are some of my thoughts. Take good care. Namaskar. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.